Over 298 lives vanished in an instant. A horrific event on July 17, 2014. Malaysia Airlines Flight 17, a Boeing 777-200ER, en route from Amsterdam Schiphol to Kuala Lumpur International, was obliterated high above eastern Ukraine's conflict zone. Every single one of the 283 passengers and 15 crew members perished without warning at an altitude of approximately 10,000 meters at 33,000 feet. Investigations led by the Dutch-led Joint Investigation Team, or JIT, involving experts from 5 nations, including Australia, Belgium, Malaysia, and Ukraine, quickly pointed to a sophisticated Buk surface-to-air missile system. This Russian-made weapon was fired from an agricultural field near Pervomaisky, close to the town of Snizhne, an area firmly controlled by pro-Russian separatists at the time. Evidence meticulously gathered by the JIT over several years indicated that the missile system itself came directly from the 53rd Anti-Aircraft Missile Brigade of the Russian Federation, based in Kursk, Russia. Radar data, satellite imagery, eyewitness accounts, and intercepted communications all contributed to a damning picture. A total of 17 nationalities were represented among the victims, including 198 Dutch citizens, 43 Malaysians, 27 Australians, 12 Indonesians, 10 Britons, 4 Germans, 4 Belgians, 3 Filipinos, 1 Canadian, 1 New Zealander, and 1 from the United States. The international community was united in its condemnation following the global tragedy. The painstaking process of identifying victims and collecting debris, spread across an area of approximately 50 square kilometers, took months, involving thousands of hours of work. In November 2022, a Dutch court in The Hague delivered a landmark verdict, finding 3 individuals guilty in absentia of murder and causing the crash of MH17. Igor Kirkin, Sergei Dubinsky, and Leonid Harchenko, all linked to the Russian-backed forces, were sentenced to life imprisonment. Oleg Pulatov, another suspect, was acquitted due to insufficient evidence after extensive trial. This unprecedented judicial process provided some measure of justice for the thousands of grieving family members, though the full political responsibility for the downing continues to be debated. The missile launch site was precisely identified to be approximately 5 kilometers south of Snizhne. The aircraft broke into many pieces upon impact with the shrapnel-filled warhead at extreme velocity. The flight had been airborne for just over 3 hours before its sudden destruction, leaving no survivors. The 2014 incident was a major flashpoint in the ongoing geopolitical tensions of the region, causing widespread shock and outrage globally. The entire operation of recovery and investigation involved hundreds of personnel from many countries, working under extremely challenging circumstances for several years to uncover the truth. A metal fragment 3 centimeters wide perforated a seatback, killing instantly. Malaysia Airlines Flight 17 exploded at 33,000 feet on July 17, 2014, a tragic loss of 298 lives. The crash site, spanning 50 square kilometers across eastern Ukrainian farmland, was enormous. Over 1,800 experts from 8 countries, including the Netherlands, Australia, and Belgium, converged for recovery. Teams worked for many months, gathering many thousands of aircraft wreckage pieces and personal effects. Human remains posed a significant challenge for forensic identification, requiring extensive DNA analysis. Specialists discovered unique butterfly-shaped shrapnel embedded in victims and plane parts. This evidence decisively pointed to a Russian-made Buk 90 M314M series missile warhead. This sophisticated weapon detonates before impact, causing immense damage with its many preformed fragments. The missile system, a Buck Telar, was tracked from its initial departure point. It originated from the 53rd Anti-Aircraft Missile Brigade, based in Kursk, Russia. Intelligence confirmed its movement across the border into Ukraine on July 16, 2014. Witnesses observed a missile launch from an agricultural field near Pervomaisky, close to Snizhna. This territory was then under the control of pro-Russian separatists. Intercepted phone calls provided critical insight into the system's deployment and return. Conversations among key figures like Igor Girkin, Sergei Dubinsky, and Leonid Karchenko revealed their involvement. These individuals held high ranks within the separatist hierarchy. Oleg Polatov, another suspect, was later acquitted due to insufficient evidence after extensive review. The aircraft's black box flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder were recovered quickly, revealing no anomalies before the sudden catastrophic event. A loud bang recorded on the CVR indicated external impact. Investigators recreated a large section of the Boeing 777-200ER fuselage. This detailed reconstruction occurred at Gilserijen Air Base in the Netherlands, using many hundreds of retrieved parts. It confirmed the missile strike's precise location and trajectory. Radar data from Ukraine and satellite imagery from multiple nations corroborated the Buck system's presence and launch. The Joint Investigation Team, a multidisciplinary body, compiled millions of documents and interviewed thousands of witnesses. Their painstaking efforts spanned over 8 years, involving more than 100,000 work hours. The Dutch-led criminal investigation culminated in a landmark verdict. A Dutch court in The Hague found 3 individuals guilty of murder and causing the MH17 crash. They received life sentences in absentia for their direct roles. This unprecedented judicial process brought some measure of justice for the many thousands of grieving families. The global community condemned this act of aggression, demanding full accountability for 198 Dutch citizens, 43 Malaysians, and 27 Australians, among others. The relentless pursuit of truth continues for all 17 nationalities impacted by this single devastating event. A sovereign nation's missile struck a civilian airliner, a shocking act of state aggression. Malaysia Airlines Flight 17 became a stark symbol of international lawlessness and defiance, even after a Dutch court convicted 3 men in absentia for the mass murder of 298 people. The pursuit of justice for the July 17, 2014 tragedy continued relentlessly. The court found that the Buck missile system used was under Russian command and control at the time of the downing, a critical step towards holding the Russian state accountable. This legal finding established state involvement beyond individual perpetrators. Russia consistently denied any role in the catastrophe, presenting multiple conflicting narratives and refusing to cooperate with the Joint Investigation Team, an international body involving experts from 5 nations. Despite overwhelming evidence, including satellite images, radar data, intercepted communications, and eyewitness accounts, Moscow maintained its innocence, creating significant diplomatic tension and hindering full transparency. Many thousands of victims' families from 17 nationalities sought further redress beyond the criminal convictions. The Netherlands and Ukraine initiated legal proceedings against Russia at the European Court of Human Rights, alleging violations of fundamental human rights, including the right to life. These cases aimed to establish state responsibility for the actions of its military personnel or proxies. Claims for compensation from families amounted to millions of euros, seeking acknowledgement of their profound loss and suffering. The United Nations Security Council saw multiple attempts to establish an international tribunal, which were consistently blocked by Russia's veto power, highlighting the political obstacles to global justice. Diplomatic efforts by nations like Australia and Belgium, alongside the Netherlands, continued to pressure Moscow for admission of guilt and full cooperation. The cost of the investigation itself mounted into many millions of dollars, funded by several contributing governments over many years of exhaustive work. Recovering all fragments and personal effects from the vast 50-square-kilometer crash site involved more than 1,800 international experts and hundreds of local Ukrainian workers for many months. The meticulous reconstruction of the aircraft's fuselage, using many hundreds of pieces, took many years, confirming the exact impact trajectory. Ongoing technical, forensic, and legal analyses seek to uncover any remaining ambiguities or new evidence. This relentless quest ensures the memory of those lost on that fateful day at 30